Paul Blustein, Schism, China, America, and the Fracturing of the Global Trading System. In Schism, China, America, and the Fracturing of the Global Trading System, financial journalist Paul Blustein delves into the complicated economic relationship between China and the United States. With a focus on China's participation in the World Trade Organization, WTO, Blustein looks at the contrasting perspectives and expectations on China's accession to the WTO. By examining the culture, politics, economic strategies, and key players involved, readers will gain an insightful understanding of how these two nations have developed as strategic rivals on the global stage.
Chinese Betrayal and American Incompetence in Globalization. Paul Blustein, through his book, accuses China of being a betrayer and the United States for being incompetent on the question of economic globalization. The expectations of American globalization advocates for China to develop democracy have fallen far short of the mark. Blustein argues that the failure was not due to America's blunders but was attributable to China's culture and politics. The book covers a wide range of topics, including financial reporting around the world, and provides knowledge to readers seeking to understand the economic currents affecting current events. Blustein claims no loyalty to any predetermined ideology. Blustein names Chinese deceit and American incompetence as the reasons for the failed U.S.-China economic geopolitics. A must-read for anyone seeking to understand the U.S.-Sino-economic relation better. China's State Capitalism. Blustein's book exposes China's state capitalism model that disadvantages its rivals in the global market. Despite being a member of the World Trade Organization, China has found ways to manipulate loopholes to protect its interests, making it the most formidable strategic rival for the U.S. The book establishes that China has abandoned any pretense of becoming a free market economy and will not change its political and economic system. With China's policies volatile and uncontrolled, the U.S. and all other international agencies can do nothing but brace for the impacts of China's continued investment in state capitalism. China's WTO membership. How China's WTO membership impacted their economy and trade negotiations with the U.S. Blustein's book delves into the effects of China's membership in the World Trade Organization, WTO. Despite President Trump's criticism of the terms of China's membership, Blustein argues that U.S. negotiators successfully secured vital economic benefits for America. Alternatively, Chinese officials still feel that this agreement forced them into a position of second-class citizenship. By highlighting China's growth from a poor state in 1993 to the seventh-largest economy by 1996, Blustein shows the significant impact of China's membership in the WTO on international trade and global economies. China's WTO Accession. Blustein's The Chastening highlights how academics and policy makers underestimated the implications of China's WTO accession and how events have proven skeptics right, with China's lack of free markets and democratic institutions hindering progress towards political and economic openness. The cost of cheap imports. In The China Mission, Blustein estimates that U.S. consumers saved $202 billion from 2000 to 2007 on cheap Chinese imports, at the expense of U.S. jobs. The author also reveals that President Trump's tariff move, which imposed a 25% tariff on imported Chinese steel and a 10% tariff on aluminum, backfired by making U.S. allies less willing to join multinational efforts to contain China. Blustein characterizes Beijing as happy with Trump's surprise election victory. Gary Cohn, director of Trump's National Economic Council, resigned because Trump never consulted him on the tariff move. The consequences of Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports. Blustein's book delves into the impact of Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports worth $34 billion, which resulted in a retaliation from China of duties on U.S. products worth $50 billion. The consequences have been dire, causing a plummet of 90% in Chinese purchases of U.S. soybeans, as well as a drop in the Dow Jones by 2,000 points, and China's stock market. Blustein notes how Trump made $200 billion worth of Chinese goods subject to tariffs, and many speculate if it will lead to a new Cold War with China, as the schismatic forces seem inexorable. Blustein's expertise. Blustein's writing expertise lies in his ability to make high-stakes political finance understandable and entertaining. He connects the dots between behaviors, including those that seem unrelated, and highlights the power of pride and self-confidence. His reporting on China is further enriched by his analysis of finance across the globe in books such as And the Money Kept Rolling In and Out, Misadventures of the Most Favored Nations, and Laid Low.
As Blustein's narrative skillfully unfolds, it becomes clear that the initial perception of China as a potential ally for the United States never came to fruition. Instead, China's unique political and economic system, paired with a strong sense of national pride, has allowed it to find loopholes in the WTO agreement that disadvantage its competitors. The intertwined complexities of these superpowers mark a potential turning point in global economic relations, with profound implications on trade, politics, and the world economy. Schism offers an enlightening and engaging overview of the economic geopolitics, placing the United States and China at odds, raising important questions about the future of international trade.